It being 5:35, I'll call to order the meeting of the Carver Redevelopment Authority for May 3rd, 2022. Our first order of business following the election is to reorganize, and in the absence of the planner or clerk, I will defer to Savory Moore, to the vice chair, to take nominations for chairman.
All right.
I move that we nominate Sharon Clark for chair.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to have Sharon Clark remain as the chairman of the Redevelopment Authority. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Hearing none, it's passed unanimously.
Thank you.
At this point, I will turn the gavel back over to the newly elected chair, Sharon Clark.
And at this time, I will take nominations for the vice chair position.
I move that we nominate Savory Moore.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? None. It is unanimous. And is there a nomination for treasurer?
I move that we nominate Pat Maha as treasurer.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There you go. Okay. We've taken care of business for another year. We'll move on to, Paul, do you want us to take you out of order? Then you don't have to come back?
I'm just letting you know overall. I didn't have necessarily a presentation, Savory and I haven't gotten together yet. We will.
Yeah, we will.
Shortly.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been running around like crazy because I got.
And I know, that's, we've been kind of playing telephone.
Is this your last week before your operation?
My surgery's a week from Friday.
This coming, next Friday?
It's Yep. Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so I'll have plenty of time after that, Paul.
He's going to Zoom.
All right, we'll just go ahead. We'll just go ahead with this. The Route 44 project. I met with Tom Bott last week and discussed a couple of issues that'll be coming up. And I sent you the information on a very small parcel that we have to take by eminent domain, or we've been asked to take by eminent domain.
Could you tell me which one? There's two names, Tassinari and Borowski.
Yes, it was basically kind of a screw-up.
Screw up. Oh.
Yeah, it's this little parcel that's about 5,000 square feet.
All right, I got. Believe me,
It was the backyard to the Tassinari house parcel,
Oh, okay.
and it was a little piece
This
of the...
little guy right here?
Yep, it was a little piece of the Borowski parcel. And
So each piece was owned by whom? I was
No.
confused.
I know, it's kind of confusing because it's all legal. The Tassinari parcel was bought off this plan, which was the only piece they owned.
Yeah.
And the Borowski parcel was bought off this plan, which was actually the only piece he owned.
Okay.
And in between was this little 5,000 square foot piece that sat between the Tassinari and
Okay.
the Borowski parcel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very small, but I believe this is about where the road is going to go.
Who owns it? Who actually owns it?
Yeah, what's it?
What they provide, Route 44 actually felt that they owned it and that it was a Scrivener's error, meaning that they put the wrong Lot 1 in plan book reference on the deed. I don't think that's the case, because I kind of went back and did a little work on it. They prepared a...
Well, there's two quitclaim deeds here,
Right.
but it
and-
doesn't really reflect anything about that.
Well, it's Lot 1 going up this way and the Borowski parcel going this way, and never shall the twain meet.
Yeah, okay.
It just sits right in the middle.
All right.
And this is what I went to see Tom about, because
So this dotted, let me just interrupt, this dotted line here is how you get up to this Sullivan, that's the thing that sits on a hill. Is that what this is? This is a road?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, he feels he owns it all.
Okay.
But there is this one little piece. And I believe they have it in a very long chain of the heirs of Shirtliff, or the potential heirs of Shirtliff.
Do you have that? You didn't give that to us, though.
No, because this is just a kind of a working copy. I gave it to Tom Bott
Okay.
last week when I met with him, in order to send it on to council and see how we proceed from here, because, go ahead.
When I read this quitclaim deed for the Tessinaries, I read 60,109 square feet. I really should have blew this whole thing up, this map.
I know, it is so small.
It's so small, I
See,
didn't blow it up.
I
but-
do it on my computer.
Right.
So the 6190 is this,
Oh, okay, all right.
without that.
All right,
And, it's sitting between two pieces that they own.
right.
So there's a couple of ways they could do it. They could wait 20 years and take it by adverse possession. They could take it through land court to have it certified, but that takes about 5 years. Or we can do a very friendly eminent domain
Taking,
taking
friendly.
on their behalf.
Okay.
Anyway, so I think it's kind of holding up the works a little bit. I've sent the information to John Smolak, who's the attorney for Hillwood, and that's kind of our next little step that's in the works.
Do we get involved in some legal end of
Yeah.
it for taking?
Yeah.
Can I move that Kathleen O'Donnell is given this part of this process, or the process?
I think that's a little preemptive.
Okay. But I'd like you to keep that in mind.
I will. I definitely will.
She did say on her agreement that she was willing to work with us on the urban renewal project, if you remember. That's
Yep.
the agreement you signed.
Yep.
Can I tell you why I'm asking to have her come on? Did I tell you?
You can anyway.
I've dealt so long with KP Law.
Yeah.
We can't talk to them. You have to go through the town administrator to do. We pay our bills. I was so specific with Rick LaFawn, and he goes, "I'm sorry, Joanna, but this is the way the contract is. You have to go through me." Me then. Now Hennessy. We can't pick up the phone like Kathleen. She's our lawyer. We pick up the phone, we talk to her, we get these responses and whatever. So that's my claim.
Right. And I understand that, and I do appreciate it. The reason I had gone in to see Tom is that I was under the impression that he was going to be leaving, and we needed exactly that kind of access to either KP Law or Mr.
You're not going to get
Hennessy.
it. You're not going to get access to KP Law. I'm sorry, it's already been defined and told to me, and I would doubt it has any changes. You're going to pay the bill, no doubt about it. You're going to get the bill, but you can't talk to her directly, or him, or whomever.
Well,
That's my point.
I understand your point, and I think
Okay.
it's a valid one.
I rest my case. I rest my case.
But Mr. Bott is not leaving now.
Oh, he's not?
No,
He's going to stay on?
he is staying on.
Permanent? Can I use the word? Can I get rid of the interim?
I think you can get rid of interim, but I don't believe they've finished negotiating the contract for the timetable yet.
Ooh.
I believe I can't speak for it. I think it's about a year, but,
We lost the chair, Bruce Mackey, to the planning board because there was nobody to really speak with. And I asked Bruce Mackey that, and he said he would have stayed on had he had an earlier opportunity to work with him, and he didn't.
right,
And
well,
so he gave it up.
It was really up in the air.
Yeah, I know.
But when I spoke to Tom last week, he is staying on. So that's kind of like the next little thing we need to do, and you know what, maybe I'll send this information over to Kathleen.
I wish you would.
Okay, I'll do that.
I wish you would. Yeah.
Send it to Kathleen.
Thank you.
The other thing we need to do is probably,
Before we finish with that.
you don't even know what I was going to say.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, are you moving off the eminent domain onto something else?
Yeah.
Okay, no, before we finish eminent domain, I think that there are a couple of things we need to do. Every board and committee in this town is under a microscope. If this was something that had to do with conservation, or if this was something that had to do with planning, the developer would need to come in and present.
Good point.
So I believe that if it's George, still, that he's got to come in and present why this has to happen.
Okay. You're right, we had talked about this too.
Right. If there is a taking, you have to take it from somebody. Now, we've been told all along, well, not all along, but, since we first heard about this a little while ago, that, that this might happen, that it was friendly. That it was almost a request from the property owner to have George do a taking because that would clear up all the legal. I think George needs to provide a written letter to that effect from whoever he's taking it from.
Okay. And
Yes,
I think that's a good point, because originally when he spoke to me about it before, several months ago, it was presented as, I've gone ahead and I've bought this, and now in order to clear title so that Hillwood can finance or whatever, what have you, it was that we had to do it for George. But I gathered from the documents that he sent, that wasn't the case. And in my conversations with him and sending things back and forth with him, I still don't think it's the case, but we definitely need clarification on it.
Yeah, I mean, eminent domain has bad connotations, no matter how you spin it. So in order to keep the focus on the project itself and not on eminent domain, we need to have something that shows that the owner of the property is the requester of the eminent domain taking.
Okay.
Madam Chairman, may I ask you to carry, whatever Savory says, I totally agree with him. And the quitclaim deed of each one of those has the specific receivers of those property, Tassinari or whatever. I would ask that you take what he's saying and pass that along to Kathleen. In her experience, she might have some other way of doing it, maybe not through eminent domain or whatever kind of taking. Maybe that's the way to go, I don't know. The word friendly is really what we need to do. But if you pass that along to Kathleen, the way that Savory has making his request.
I have the documents that were kind of quasi-prepared ahead of time.
Oh, well, that's important. Yeah, she would verify that and go through it. Yeah.
And I'm still not entirely certain what the process was.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
We talked about this many years ago, or two years ago, whatever.
Yep.
And I don't think we got a lot of specifics back then. It was just sign this.
Yeah, we'll take care of it. We'll take care of it.
Yeah. But that's definitely something that we've got to put on a burner to have somebody take care of, and I'll send it to her, and I gave it to Tom, but he's not going to do anything with it till he comes back from vacation at the end of the week.
Well, if you could send all that to her, I'd appreciate that.
Okay, I
Have
will
her
do
look
that.
at it. We need that opinion.
Okay. And just the process.
That's true.
And then
That's true.
we have our next meeting on the 17th, and should I ask George to come in or send his attorney in?
Someone just to explain it,
Yep.
as long as they have something in writing from who they're taking it from,
Yep.
saying, please do this for us.
Okay.
Good point, Savory.
I just want to make mention to you, when I was first talking with Kathleen, she told me in all earnestness, she would initially come here first, for the first meeting, face-to-face, to understand who she is and introduce herself. And after that, when necessary, anytime we wanted her services, other than calling her, we could Zoom,
Okay.
okay?
She's working on 94th Street though, right?
Yes, she
Okay.
is. Yeah, she is. I'm going to put a little plaque on my
That
head.
makes both of you my very best friends. The other thing I talked to Tom about was the role that the RDA needs to go to from here as far as the project goes. And he would like to come in at maybe our next meeting and kind of go over some of that. I did want to get in and request a meeting with the planning board, just a casual, informational,
Were they supposed to
discussional.
come here?
No,
No? Okay.
they're,
Is Avery
Buku
going there
busy.
on the 10th? I'm going on the 10th and on behalf
you're
of
going
Dan, yeah.
because of,
Planning
yeah.
board,
I was thinking of going. I wanted to make sure there weren't any more than 2 of us are on the 10th, because it's,
Well, I watched the video, you
a
said you
public
had to
meeting.
do something.
what's that?
It's a public meeting. Anyone can go.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we're not.
Well,
there
I
as a
watched the
committee.
meeting that you guys, that I didn't come to, and Savory was going, and I'm in the background of my house saying, hey, I'm going, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then you piped up and said you had some other kind of meeting to go to that was interruptive. I watched the video, it was interruptive at that time,
Okay.
at that time.
But I haven't spoken to Mac from Hillwood. I haven't spoken to John from Hillwood.
I spoke to Owen
Okay,
last Wednesday. Basically, I had sent him an email saying, what's next? And we had mentioned to, having Mac come in to talk about what's next. And Owen called me and said that they're just not ready yet.
okay,
They don't know what's next.
okay.
I guess they just have to, I think you said it, that they might be a little tentative right now.
Are they tentative because they're waiting for the AG approval on those articles?
I think that's
I
part
think
of their
that's part
fear.
of it.
Okay, I figured that.
I think
anyway.
that's part of it. I think
That
they're,
could be a long problem.
But you said that Mr. Bott, that Tom told them at their meeting to consider it?
he told them that, what he said was that they consider zoning changes effective as of town meeting, unless they hear otherwise. Now, whether the planning board sees it differently, that would be within their purview.
What do you mean by that? How would they see it differently, if that's what?
That's what Tom said. And then it's, I believe that you can apply under new zoning at your own risk.
Oh, I see.
And I think Hillwood's somewhat reticent that the planning board might be concerned with details of that.
Okay, well, I mean, it's a huge undertaking for them to start making all the plans.
Right.
It's a very expensive undertaking because there are a lot of moving parts. I mean, I'm sure that the packet's going to be this thick
Yeah.
when you get everything done.
And I think when they come and present, they don't want to come and present and then be delayed. Open the hearing and then, or open the site plan review, but, if they have a building that's more than 40 feet tall, or a driveway that was exceeded or didn't exceed, whatever it is we voted, then I think they feel that there's a chance that someone could raise the question that these aren't really in effect until the Attorney General says they are.
Okay. All right.
It's going to be interesting how the colors at town meeting are going to transition to the AG. We had Appendix G, we had color blue, we had bold color blue.
Oh,
Do you remember? I mean, it was incredible. I watched it from home, and I could not believe it. And talk about colorblind. I'm saying to myself, I just can't believe this. And that's my question to the who puts this together for, other than the town clerk? Put it together in its form for them to realize how this was voted? How, it's complicated if you look at that.
well, we made changes up until the day that it had to be
Yeah,
posted.
right.
And those were things that came out of the public hearing. If you remember, there were several changes that came out
Yeah.
of the,
Well, someone has I guess my question is, it's in pieces, and it was voted on, and people got up and, and said everything's in Appendix G, and Tom
The
Bott got up and, huh?
the changes.
The changes, and
Right.
Tom Bott got up and he started it, and the chair, Mackey got up and he said his thing about Appendix G, and I'm looking at the colors and I'm going, oh my God. And then when Craig Corbo was asked the question, he said, I'm sorry, everything of mine is black and white. I mean, it was beginning to get quite a show. And I'm saying to myself, who's putting this together? So that the AG really is seeing the results of what the whole thing should look like, each article.
I'm sure they'll get it the way it was presented with the different colors.
Who's
because that-
they? Can you
the
answer that
AG.
The AG. And then they'll get,
And along with a phone number of who to call
right.
Yeah.
to explain it.
Right. Because they had to get it put together within the next few days, and Kara had to get it put together to get it sent out to the AG, and it had to be certified by maybe the town clerk.
Did she do it in the form that it was
That's not my
presented at
job.
town meeting?
Not my job.
Well, you'd have to do that. You maybe just
You
add a
have to.
key, what the different
Yeah.
colors and boldness means.
yeah.
Yeah,
to
and
explain
I'm
it,
sure
but-
it's not the first time they've seen it.
I'm hoping not.
No, I'm
No,
certain.
the only thing that was really confusing to some people was a section that had been deleted and then put back in.
Yeah, that was the setback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that was confusing to people because that was in a different color and even
Oh,
bolder.
my God.
So,
It crossed out, the whole 9 yards. And Savory, you saved the day with that matrix.
well,
Excuse me,
I was
you
glad I had
saved the day.
I was glad I had it.
Your husband began saving the day. Can I not talk about this?
Oh, sure you can.
Your husband...
We're talking about Route 44, so.
Your husband sat there at the opening of the meeting and he said to Sean, "Sir, there was a 3-2 vote, planning board," and that awakened Sean to get back on the track. Thank you to your husband. The other thing was this matrix that you had. And the preliminary meetings that you had, I believe, and the website was educating the people. I saw it, and you said you could read the people's eyes and see their comments. I couldn't, everything was the back of the head. But I'll tell you, Sharon,
I wondered if
God
you were-
love you.
I wondered if you were doing it home.
Yeah, exactly. I was cheering. And, I could see this back and forth, and, and I said to myself, Jesus, you know what I want? I would like to see on our website clips of each one of those articles, and I know what Richard Goulet, and I was gonna call him up, if you guys would allow that. There's what, 8 articles? This is not gonna be long, it's a clip.
8, yeah.
It's a clip. In other words,
Oh, yeah.
just takes you right there, leave
Oh,
that.
to the vote.
To the vote, leave that, the presentation quickly by Savory. It's real quick, it's not long.
I only had 3 minutes.
And then that page would be open, because I already talked to Shelby, and she said, no problem. This is the Carver MA, not the other one, but it should be on there too. So it would be on that one. So it stays open, you look at the clip, you come back, boom, oh, here's another one. Ding. You go over there and come back. I want people to memorialize what went on.
I think there won't be any problem with people remembering how that meeting went.
But more than 480 people should be looking at it. That's my
It was
point.
the second night, so.
It was the second night. We
Oh, you
barely-
didn't have that many
We
people.
barely had a quorum.
You probably almost didn't have a quorum?
We had 175.
We need,
of
yeah,
them.
we needed 150 the second night.
Wow. But anyway, we need to have all those people memorialized. That lady that got up the first night and said, will you come back the second and the third? Everybody, of course, yeah, they were going to come. Of course, they didn't come. But anyway, that's my point. And with permission, I can go forward with that if you guys think that, because I truly want
Public
to.
domain.
Public domain.
Have at it.
Huh?
Have at it. It's public domain.
Yeah.
It's out there already. It's on YouTube, so.
Yeah.
I just want to clip it and bring it in specifically to our website and just let it go. So if anybody gets on, they might be interested.
I don't think any of us have any trouble with you calling Rich.
You know?
No.
No.
I'm going to
I don't
do
even
it.
think we need to vote on it.
Huh?
I don't even think we need to vote on it.
No, don't vote on
Just
it.
go
I'm
do
just,
it.
I'm just gonna do it.
Just go do it.
Your man, Richard, you can take me there, honey. I know, he doesn't live far from me, so I know how to get him.
He lives down the street from me.
Yeah, North Carver. Hey, look who's here. Hi there, Raj.
Sorry, everybody.
Welcome,
Welcome.
welcome. So anyway, thank you, I have a task.
Okay, good.
Did you, I know that Tom is going to explain, is Tom going to come to our meeting, either our next one or the one after, and just explain what the working relationship is between planning and us?
Yes.
Okay.
And that week, first off, I'd like to welcome Roger Noblet to the Redevelopment Authority. Congratulations on your win.
Pleased to have you.
And we're still only on Article 1 of our agenda. He is, and the week of the 16th, so it's not next week, it's the week after, he and I are going to go up into his office, sit down on the floor, and go through that giant drawer.
Oh, the one on top, yeah, is huge.
No, it's down on the bottom now.
Oh, she moved it?
Yeah, it's down on the bottom now.
Oh, it's full.
It's full.
Oh, that's what he meant by the RDA draw?
The RDA, it's got a big sticker on it that says RDA.
That's where you
So-
keep the checkbook, right?
No, he keeps it at home now.
No,
No,
I
he-
got it in Jill's office.
Yeah, it's not-
It's in that drawer.
No, oh, well, this is a
all by
drawer that's
itself.
chock full of files.
Oh, it's in Tom Bott's?
It's in Tom
Yeah.
Bott's office.
Because Jill told me about, she has some
Jim Walsh.
data in her, where the checkbook is kept.
Well, it's in a different
And
pit,
and if
yeah.
you open that drawer, there are other folders of other things that she collected or whatever. I thought everything was moved from Jim's old office to that drawer, but apparently not.
This is a giant file drawer.
Okay, oh
And
my
and if I
God.
was looking at it, I think it's kind of Jim Walsh's files because
It is.
it's marked January, February, March, and just
Yeah.
goes in progression.
Oh, yeah, it is his files,
So I just want to go through them.
because I personally went in there and told Jim Walsh, do not throw anything away, because when Marlene left, she chucked so much stuff. We didn't have a lot, so more is better than not.
Okay.
Good luck.
And I think we should, and we said we were going to do it last week, last meeting, and I didn't do it because the planning board had a lot on their plate their first night.
Yeah, they did.
They did. I watched the meeting.
I did not.
They had a lot on their plate.
Who do they reorg?
They reorged. Connie Shea is the chairman. And Tom Bott was there, and
Who's vice chair?
Kevin,
Is he? Okay.
maybe? John, maybe?
I don't
I don't know, those are my choices.
News to me.
Anyway, I want to reach out to Connie and say that we'd like to get in for just a brief discussion, first of their agenda. But I want to go over it with Tom ahead of time.
Yeah.
And I want to have some direction from which way we should be starting to proceed.
Is this going to be a joint meeting?
I don't think so.
Probably not.
It doesn't need to be. We're not voting on anything, we're just coming here to talk.
Right. I mean, we need to know where responsibilities lie.
Right.
Moving forward.
Right.
So you're going to go to their meeting?
Yeah,
Is that how you're going to do it? Okay. Well, we can watch it on TV.
well, you can.
I don't know if it's live, but we'll see it.
Is there anything else? It's been kind of quiet. I've been afraid to open my email lately.
Can I just add one thing,
Sure.
if you don't mind? I'm always adding something, sorry. Chairman?
Is it on Route 44?
44, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
fine.
When we were, and you can see all these on Area 58, near to the very end of our meetings, which was well populated upstairs, all kinds of people came and so forth. Marlene, and I watched it again to make sure I was right. Will St. Clair chaired, and of course all of us were sitting there, and I had raised the question, geez, once these various articles and signing and everything's taken place, I raised the question, what kind of buildings are they going to build? Simply because we were at the point where people were vacating buildings in that period of time, and they were just walking away, leaving the buildings, walking away, and they looked like crap. And then Marlene openly said to us, and it's on tape, that it's very, very important when you go through that next phase that you work very closely with the planning board. And make sure that what you want, or what you think is part of, should be, you have to make it known. So the fact that you people will be getting together, and I don't know at what point, if we need to be adjoined, or whenever that happens, but make sure the way the Hillwood representation, right, is, make sure it happens.
The way I see it is that there will be members of the RDA at each planning board meeting that has Hillwood at it, that's on their agenda. We're still on the first one, Paul. And is either an adjunct to the planning board, or we'll just be there. It's just double up on our meetings.
Okay.
So.
Right, well, I mean, Tom and Sharon are going to talk about where responsibilities
Yeah.
lie. And obviously, we continue to have a certain amount of responsibility towards this project because it is still in the Green Business Park and it is a redevelopment authority project, so to speak. So we're not going to be left out from here on.
No.
So.
Well, that's important. That's important.
That would be a very big building to be vacant, so.
Well, I mean,
And we're working really hard. That it's
we
not
work,
vacant.
you guys, and I would say the redevelopment has worked very hard to this point, and we've seen a visual of that building. I've seen it on the thing. And technology, this is the 21st century. It's not like when we first started, 2015. Things have changed drastically. We just want to make sure it's right. And we want to be proud of, when I say we, all of us, want to be really proud of that whole project.
Well, again, as we've said all along, the building is going to be determined by the tenant.
I understand that.
And I think that probably Hillwood is a little reticent to go out and start knocking on doors until the AG says yes.
Yeah, until the
is all
AG
set.
says yes, and that we can, and that they can come start doing a formal site plan review to the planning board. And I think there was a special permit they needed from the DEP at the state for the,
Well,
wasn't
there's one for
there?
2 buildings on a lot.
Well, that's a special permit from here.
Right. There was something
Is it something to do
environmentally
with,
that they had to do.
environmentally with the wastewater, or
don't
retention pond, or?
I don't recall, no, it had something to do, it was more general
Yeah, okay.
of environmental. But they can't develop plans for a site plan review until they have a tenant.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yes, because they're going to build to suit.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They're going to shop this around. We've got 1.8 million square feet. What do you want us to build for you?
Okay. So what has been shown exterior, and I'm talking exterior, not interior,
Yeah.
would be quote-unquote the building that they are planning on presenting?
That's a rendering of what they expect it to look
Right.
something like.
Okay.
Yeah, size-wise and placement-wise, according to the site.
Yeah.
So,
Right, but, different companies have different needs. So it may change the number of bays where trucks come in. It may change the flow internally, may change what happens externally. As far as, I think they have one side in, one side out is pretty much where they start, but that could change. One of the examples that they brought up as a potential tenant was the Kohl's Group. Taking that big building and having it Kohl's and Home Goods and Marshalls.
Okay.
And putting a wall between, and having each one be their own separate thing, but under the same umbrella company.
right.
Oh, okay.
And, if Marshalls as a company gets smaller, they just move the walls and expand the Home Goods part of it. So they have the flexibility within the building to do what they want. That's a possibility. That's one of the options that they said they could farm out or
Well, that's
something.
thinking. I applaud that. That's thinking. Good, okay, thank you for letting me talk. I wasn't at the
Well, we missed you. So. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Oh, God, that's me.
So next up is 94th Street.
Yeah, I guess it's me. Well, I
And
wanna
that's
te-
May
yeah, that's
10th?
me. Yeah, it's May 10th at the Planning Board meeting. I spoke with Dan today. He's ready to go. He has prepared and given well in advance the necessary documents for the application and so forth. He also presented to the Board of Health, Kevin Forg, I believe, the septic.
Yeah,
He really can't use the well that is there
Yeah.
because of the way the building will be situated and so forth. He will be bringing his site engineer, am I saying that right?
yeah.
So that if anything comes up they want or ask questions of course, he's there for it. So. He said he submitted those plans, and I'm kind of interested to see what the building is going to look like. So I called Jill up and I said, Jill, I'm going to come in this week, but I'll let you know so I can look at those plans. I'm really kind of interested in it because those other Craftsman buildings really, they have a lot of problems, I believe. I think I heard a lot of complaints, but nonetheless, yeah.
Yeah,
So he had a lot of changes to do because Tom Bott said the terminology he initially used, he didn't want him to use. He did not recommend it. He said, call it the craftsman, tradesman. So he had seven or nine sets of plans to go back and change and everything.
Okay.
But he's done all that, and he's very aggressive, and we're just keeping our fingers crossed so that we get these permits.
the one thing I'd like to have at that meeting is a breakdown of the money that will be returned to the town.
Oh, my God. Why didn't you mention that earlier? Oh, my God, this lady's been working.
Why am I sitting in this chair? Come on.
I don't know. Oh, here we go. There's one for you,
Thank you.
one for you, one for you,
Wow.
one for you,
Thank you.
and me. And here we go.
Right, just quickly, if I can bring Roger up to
Oh,
speed.
yeah.
This is a piece of land that's opposite the Quickies in North Carver, next to the new buildings that are on that Lillian Way, the new Craftsman Tradesman, the Nutrient buildings there. Okay, and this piece abuts that, and it's going kind of up
It's
the way.
behind it, going up that road, correct?
Yeah, it's on.
Forest Street.
It's on
The very
Forest Street.
last,
And this is a piece of property that was turned over to the RDA, I think in 2014, but we finally got the deed put together last year for resale. And then when it was foreclosed on for taxes, and when we sell it, the breakdown that you see in front of us, if I put my glasses on, I believe is the money that will be returned to the town. They get their taxes back, we get our expenses back, we get, what is it off the top, 15%?
10%.
10%, crap. 10% off the top, we get our expenses back, town gets its taxes back, and then they get the rest,
They who, yeah.
the town.
So the detail in red is what we started with, Morse Engineering, 2015. You guys weren't, I don't think you were aboard then, were you? When we had the engineering and survey plan. We were using Kathleen, but nothing happened, so there was zero. We entertained working with Brenda Titus. We had it on the market for initially in 2016 of $210,000. We took it off at 2017. We had another offer later, was $170,000. We had a physical offer. He ran into too many legal issues between the differences that were on the assessor card versus the title.
Yeah, there was a difference.
Didn't have enough acreage. And so we took it off the market at that time. Then we decided to put it back on the market. I think Savory, that's when you came aboard. And then we said we're going to put it on for $200,000, and then we did it for 6 months, and then to that date we didn't have anything. We kind of sat back on it. There was a period of time when the town administrator came to us. I don't know if I want to go into it, but I think I will. He told us that we couldn't physically sell it through a real estate agent, and he had led us to believe that we had to go through the state to for bids like the town would,
Yeah.
like a procurement part of it.
That was before I came on.
And we were led to believe it. So that is the rationale for the taking it off after the 6 months. Our town planner at that point in time went ahead and we put it on a Carver website. You can still see it there. He advertised for it, and there was no takers. And then finally, through the permitting department, and when we were coming about with Jack Williams's
Check, yeah.
reality that he was interested in that particular parcel. So we had prior to him, we, in the registry in 8/21/2019, we spent $206.60 because we went back to Morse. They had put stakes there, wooden stakes. People got on that and they pulled them out. And when the interest of that $170,000, that particular person who was interested said, there are no stakes. We said, what do you mean no stakes? And he said, well, they're not there. So we went back to Morse Engineering and spent the money and said, put stone bounds, which they did. So they resurveyed and we re-recorded everything. And we decided, because of the time frame that had gone by, we went to Clancy Appraisal on 10/22/2019, and we said, could you appraise the property for us? And they charged us $800. We kind of sat back on it. There was issues between the bidding and all this other stuff, and
Well, that's about the time that we realized we never got the deed.
I believe you're correct. That's
Yeah.
right.
It took quite a bit of doing to find the deed, have it created, get everybody to agree, because we're just finding minutes.
That's right, right.
Of select board meetings, and that took a little while.
From that point in time, back into February of 2020, we decided we were going to put it back on the market, and we needed another appraisal. At that time, the appraisal came in, and down the bottom, I put in bold, after the last appraisal, we voted to advertise via the state register for $175,000. And that stayed up there on the Carver webpage. Good thing we didn't take it down, huh? We spent legal fees with KP Law, and the fees were the title, the MOU.
Yep.
Nobody could find that anymore. And we had to create a commercial P&S that was about 15 pages thick that KP Law had done. So those expenses is really, those three areas is really in what we expended all that on. Jack Williams decided he was going to buy the property, but he was only going to give us $150,000.
That's what, yeah.
We
had
just
it listed for
decided,
165.
the team or the committee that says, hey, we just need to get rid of this thing. We just had it on too
Make it
long.
go away.
Yeah, we just was stuck. So we signed the P&S with Jack Williams for that amount of money. And on the P&S was stipulated that if he reneged or he decided to change his mind, he'd have to come back to the committee to negotiate with us. Well, he decided, Sharon, you can probably fill in the blank.
No, his time ran out. We gave him almost 6 months, I think. We
Right,
gave him 6
yeah,
months
yeah.
to 12/30 or 12/31. And he decided that he hadn't gone in front of the planning board yet because he needed to do that. And the deal that he was trying to work wasn't coming to fruition, and we could just keep his $5,000. So we did.
I think I've got something out of turn, Sharon, you can fill it in, but there was a zoning board variant in here someplace. We didn't pay for it. It's all happened within the town. But it was prior to the Jack Williams.
It was prior to Jack Williams because the zoning variance that we got for frontage was due to expire
At the end of the year?
I think around the end of the year, but the COVID acts from the
Extended.
legislature extended it until 6/30 of this year.
Yeah, yeah. So with that in mind, we had to spend some money to record all that.
Right, and the legal fees. to
And the
go in front
legal
of-
fees that were associated with
To
all
go in
that.
front of the zoning board.
Right. And so we had more expenses, as you can see, KP Law. And then 175, and then I left everything on the webpage. Thank God, Mr. Dan with D&D Electric said to Sharon, wasn't it you, Sharon, that got the call? And she said she had some interested party that
Yeah.
was going to pay us, and not only pay us, but cash. Woo! I had to go back to,
We had to calm her down.
I had to go back to Brenda Titus and break that little negotiation
Yeah.
that I had with her, because at that point in time, talking to Kathleen O'Donnell, I talked to Kathleen O'Donnell about this whole issue. And she had told me, and I told her about the issue with advertising through the state. And I sent her the document that Town Administrator Mike Malinsky sent us. Then she called me back within an hour or two, and she said, "Are you sitting down?" I go, "Yeah." She said, "You know what? He gave that to the treasurer because they never had an auction before for their land. And they were going to have an auction, and they needed to understand what they needed to do." I said, "That town administrator? Oh my gosh, I am..." Came back to my committee here, and I told them what Kathleen revealed to us, which gave me the go and the permission from the committee here to go back to Brenda Titus and let her know that we were going to be using her for real estate going forward. But because Dan came, and Dan wanted to buy it, and he was going to give us cash, I had to go back to Brenda and say to her, "Brenda, can you put that
Maybe
on-"
next time.
Yeah, can you put that on the table or the back burner or something? And she said, yes, fine, that wasn't an issue. And
Yeah.
she sent us an email that she would continue to work with us whenever that time was, so we're fine. So the back taxes, we finally got an MOU through all of this, and we learned from the treasurer, I think it was, he
was
sat here
Craig,
that night,
yeah.
was $37,944.71. We always paid the back taxes at the time of taking. The Carver redevelopment has given at least $580,000 back to the town. We started in 2006, and I can tell you that because I was one of the first elected to the board, and I'm still on the board. With that, we had an MOU. We always sold our property through the real estate agent. We always paid the back taxes. We always collected a administration fee, and the rest of the money and a check went back to the town. So this, as you see to the bottom, the same thing will happen. We are going to have an administration fee of $17,000, that's 10%, $17,500, and I have to estimate $116,863.19. It's just an estimate because Kathleen hasn't given us her bill yet. So it's not going to be too far away.
But don't we get all these expenses back too, the ones in the red?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Then,
Because the 17.5 is just the
I forgot
10%.
I forgot
But we
that.
have to add all these
well,
up too.
I'm going to go back and recalculate my numbers because that's about 3,000.
It's more than that.
Oh, it's more than $3,000.
That's-
But I'll wait till Kathleen
Yeah.
gives us her bill.
Okay.
But I'm glad you mentioned that
But
one.
if you can maybe update this so that we can have this for the planning board. Update it just as what we
Oh,
are
right.
guessing.
I'll go back and I'll recalculate,
Okay.
and I'll have different figures,
Okay,
yeah, okay?
that's awesome.
So all the red, right, except for back taxes owed, or is that what's coming out of our budget? Everything in red is what we paid or will be paying when this money comes in?
The smaller numbers above the
top.
175, that's what we've paid.
Paid already, and
The
then, of course,
RDA is paid just,
Everything in red.
Yep, and then after the closing, we're also gonna be paying back taxes and then.
We give the money to the back taxes to the town
Just making
first.
sure it was all right.
We get 10% off the top. We add up all of our expenses. We get that, and whatever's left goes back to the town.
So basically, what has happened in the past, at the closing,
Personally, I think we earned it.
we were given a check back to the RDA, not to the town of Carver. And the RDA would take that check, and then they would calculate all of the expenses, and then including the expenses and including the 10%,
Got it.
and figure that out against the amount of the sale. And we would write a check from the town of Carver, from the RDA.
Yep.
With a presentation, Pat Maha, back to the select board. It was a presentation of that money that we were giving back to the town. That's how that went down.
Thank you. Sorry.
And so that is going to be on 5/10. Tom Bott will be here. We should also make sure that the planning board knows that the variance expires on 6/30.
Oh, yep.
Because he has to have his approvals in hand
The
in order
sixth-
to act on the variance. They
Yes,
usually-
it says in the P&S, I think by the 16th, he needs all his permits.
Yep.
June 16th, he needs all his permits.
Yep.
The closing is expected to be the 30th.
Yep. Okay, and thank you once again.
Okay.
I'll believe it when I see it, but thank you.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. At least I'm active doing something.
There's a discussion of the website maintenance and use right now.
Well, Paul and I are going to get together and talk about that.
Okay.
I think basically what we just, we sort of discussed this a little bit at our meeting 2 weeks ago. We're going to keep the website going. It's not going to be nearly as spontaneous as it has been up to town meeting. So it's really going to be more about maintenance and more about kind of mirroring what the town meeting calendar says on the Carver website.
Okay.
So that people have because people may be used to going to our website, and we should publicize probably on the landing page when the next meeting is and who's going to be involved and what's going to be discussed, and then post the agenda if we can.
Oh, excuse me, are we still going to have the you can ask a question feature?
I think we still keep that. I think what we have to make sure is that, and this is part of the discussion with you, Paul, that you have everything you need from Courtney so that you
We
can,
can work at the details. I'm sure.
yeah. So basically, it's just, keeping it going, but we'll just have to, we'll have to discuss it and see what we think is appropriate as far as compensation, since it's going to be, it's not going to be nearly as much maintenance and time involved. It may get back to that as it gets into the permitting process.
As it gets into the permitting
But,
process?
for the next, probably
Okay.
from now until the Attorney General says everything is okay, we're probably not going to do anything.
Okay,
So-
One of the initial discussions you had is that you were looking to have this as work dovetail with the North Carver project. That other projects, Montello Street and other ones, would also be added as well. Is that still?
Isn't it there already, Montello Street?
Well, there is a page for Montello.
Updates and expansions as they go along?
The quick answer is yes. The longer answer is, but we need something else to put on there,
Oh, I
Yeah.
get that.
which we don't have right now.
yeah.
I'm just saying that I'm looking for future stuff.
I'll put my town
I
meeting.
think what comes across this
I
table
know
will
what you're doing.
determine
Huh?
the future.
You're going to put your town meeting.
But this is a year and a half to
I'm
a
putting it on.
2-year project to build this thing.
Yeah,
So I foresee it at least going till until there's a ribbon cutting.
right.
So, and if nothing else comes up for the RDA, then at that point, it may just, wither into internet heaven. But, I expect that it'll stay at least until the building is complete and it's open.
I don't think you're in the room, but I got permission from my team here. I can put the articles on the website.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna meet with, you, me, and Roger, and Mr. Goulet. Goulart? I know, I can't even pronounce his name, and I know that.
Robert Goulet is a
I know
singer.
that man.
Robert-
I've known him for a long time.
Robert Goulet is a singer.
I know
Rich
it.
Goulart.
Well, he might like me to call him Robert Goulet.
He might.
He might, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, we'll have a meeting, Paul.
Okay.
It's going to be on our webpage in Carver, too. I talked to Shelby already. No problem.
Okay.
All right, so we'll get together.
That's the other offshoot is.
Oh, yeah,
There's some other things that
Yep.
we do maintenance on the
Yep.
town site as well as.
And I again,
Oh, yeah.
whatever happens to one
Yep.
should happen to the other.
Yeah, that's all billable. Okay.
Yep.
Topics not anticipated by the chair 48 hours in advance. The only thing I have is that I think all of you got an email from Kara Dayhill
Oh, yes.
that Mr. Belbin has made a Freedom of Information request for our emails relating to our discussions with Sean Clancy for our presentation at town meeting.
There was no presentation. What's he talking about? I mean, I read the minutes, and that guy should be reading our minutes. There was no
Well-
presentation. You kidding me?
Well, no, he was there. This was at town
Well,
meeting.
why ask that question?
So I have them, I've been putting them together. I don't think, I checked with Stephen Cole because he also asked for minutes from the executive director. Is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you. Stephen Cole had nothing. Yeah, well, Stephen Cole had nothing,
Right.
singular, anything, and anything that I think I have, you and I were both copied on.
It was a single thread, as far as I know, with
it's-
4 or 5 replies, and that was it.
Yeah. You know,
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I first contacted Sean.
I printed it out.
March 21st, I went back to it.
He says he's requesting all email communication to and from the RDA members and executive director to the Carver Town moderator related to the town meeting PowerPoint presentation to include the presentation itself. Hello? What's he talking
I'm
about?
glad somebody got to see it.
Yeah, who the heck was it? Who was it?
So anyway, I'll be doing that. I have until May 13th to submit everything, and
Oh, you
as
do?
long as you don't have anything separate,
I answered Kara, I said, I got nothing.
yeah, I don't,
Yeah, it really
the rest of the board wasn't even copied on any of them because that's a violation of the open meeting law.
Yeah, it was
So
Sharon,
just,
myself, Stephen, and Sean,
yeah,
and
just
maybe Tom.
maybe Tom on occasion.
Yeah.
But as far as we're concerned,
I
there's only
don't,
two of you.
Nothing, yeah.
Right.
no, we have nothing. So it might have something to
He
do
lost,
with,
right? He lost?
Yeah.
yeah, it might have something to do with his presentation not being shown.
Well, he has nothing to do now.
That's just typical of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't,
He wants to keep busy.
ours wasn't shown
You
either.
gotta go somewhere else then.
But, I'm glad somebody will finally get to see our presentation.
Well, yeah. Are we going to put it on the website? Paul Costas.
We were gonna.
I read the minutes and Paul Costas made a recommendation.
We talked about it, and I think we need to edit it more for, because part of it was pictures meant to go with dialogue from Stephen. So it doesn't show all by itself.
Oh.
We need some talk over.
Well,
We need some
good.
voiceover.
Well, good. But anyway, I might as well put it on.
Has everyone read the minutes of 4:15 and 4:22?
Yeah.
Yes.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of 4:15 as written.
Is there a second? Wait,
Second. No,
Did you have-
no, I wasn't there. Is that
Second.
the one I
Yeah.
didn't attend?
you weren't here for 4:22.
The 22nd, I wasn't there. I
All
was,
in favor, say aye. Aye. Is there a motion to accept the minutes of 4:22?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of April 22nd as written.
And second,
Joanna
I
was not-
abstained.
Joanna abstained, she was not there. All in favor, say aye.
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 Those are now approved, and Sue will load them on. Members' notes, are there any comments? Oh,
Not like I usually do. This is,
Aw, disappointed. Mr. Maher?
but don't worry, there's plenty of those to come, I'm sure. You know, you gotta be in the right
Frame of mind.
situation, the right mood, and I sent out everybody an account balance
Yep.
today. I'll get yours, Roger. I don't have your email yet. I see it now.
Okay.
I will do that. The other thing is, I got the last bill from Stephen Cole. Okay, but I asked him to resubmit it in a different format.
Okay.
So he said he'd get it to me today. I didn't see it, but here's the thing that I want to do with that. It is, we've got $6,800 left in the Hillwood account, and his bill is for 10/4.
Okay.
So what I want to do is, I obviously want to pay him. It's his final bill. And one thing I've learned over time is the best thing you can do when you deal with contractors, the best thing you can do is pay them. Right, Paul? So what I want to do with that, and it's very typical treasurer stuff, I've done it all the time over the years, we'll take a little money out of our money market account, cover it, and when I go for a reimbursement, I put it back in.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just wanted to be upfront with that. It's a very typical thing. I'll have a good paper trail of it,
Okay.
and it will allow Stephen and his group to get a timely check.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Good, I will
That's fine.
get to work on that, and then I'll put in for another reimbursement.
Okay.
Yeah, I think probably, Sharon, for our next agenda, we should come up with a figure for reimbursement. You know, just so we have something, because we're going to continue to pay Paul.
Yeah. Okay.
We're done with Stephen, but we should have, money to pay Paul.
Yeah, there'll be a replenishment. This will go beyond the 20, but we'll get it replenished till 20, and then we'll have, without Stephen there,
Right.
we'll have plenty of money for a while.
Yep, okay.
Oh, so just what you're going to
Because
do
that's
is
his
we're
last
just going to
bill, right,
ask them to
Stephen?
go back up to the 20 and then just,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Oh,
That's
good.
that's
Okay.
fine.
All right, that
I don't think
that
they'll-
works.
I gotta get it, I gotta get reimbursed what we spent,
Yes.
and right now,
Okay.
that's over, and that'll be over 20.
Right, okay.
So, that's what we're gonna do.
All right, that's
Do you
fine.
want to,
Hillwood.
Oh, you have to explain to Roger,
Yeah.
he's know what that,
No, I'm trying to pick that up through the osmosis of being here, that you're saying replenished, so replenished by,
Hillwood, between us and actually the fire department, they are funding the use of consultants
okay,
for us.
we get to pick them?
They gave us each $20,000,
okay.
and as we spend it, we ask for reimbursement
From that account, okay.
from Hillwood. And they've been good. They reimburse it, and then, Craig gets his money, we get our, although I cashed one of his checks one time, but that's.
Yeah,
that's okay.
accident.
He got it back. And so we give them the receipts, and then they forward us a check for reimbursement.
Got it.
And at that point, we're only going to have, we may end up with other, Paul will be the only consultant, but there may be,
There may be someone down the
there may be someone
line.
else down the line.
I mean, we
There
may,
may be.
Yeah.
we may
It's
need
for
different
that, so
peer review of something.
We'll get back, we'll replenish it,
Yeah,
and then we'll just work from there.
okay. Yeah, there may be some involvement when the traffic
Right.
issue comes up.
When we might need different peer review or different experts that, but we do the choosing. We do the interviews, we pick them ourselves.
Yeah,
So-
and we pay them.
And we pay them.
So they literally, in essence, work for us.
so Pat, I want to pass, excuse me, the treasurer's report, but I want a couple things to happen, and we can tell you. And did you get Roger Noblet's, Noblet is it?
Noblet, yes.
Noblet He got his email address, so...
I got it, and I'm gonna send him one, I just told him
Okay,
that.
that's fine.
Yeah.
I just, in the bottom of the page, I love you dearly, but you keep submitting it under my name. I don't want you to do that anymore. So can you go to the
I
footer?
got that out of there once.
I know, once,
I never print these things.
I know you don't, but anyway, the other thing too is you lost the year-to-date interest that's being provided, that page it's not on there anymore, so I just want you to go back and pick it up. Just those two things.
Year-to-date interest, it's about 38 cents.
What'd you say?
I said it's about 38 cents.
Well,
know?
across the board, each one of
Yeah,
them.
I know.
If you just go back and pick it up,
All right.
really will. Other than that, taking out the footer, I would like to make a note.
I took that out one time, I'm not
I
kidding.
know, but I'm back in.
But I don't print them for myself, so I never see it.
I know.
I just saved them.
So I'd like to approve the, if we can.
I don't think we have to approve.
We don't have to
the
approve it,
treasurer's
okay, fine. With my changes, I just want to make sure the changes get done, that's all.
report. Anybody else?
Nope, I have nothing.
I'm good.
Our next meeting is the 17th, and it will be at 6 o'clock. We'll only have an hour because zoning's, I forget.
Are we here at 4, room 4?
Yeah, room 4,
And on Zoom.
and on Zoom.
Hopefully,
Okay.
for,
So I'll make sure that Area 58 knows that our next meeting on the 17th, we need Zoom, too. Is there a motion to adjourn so the zoning board can come in?
so moved.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye, and we're adjourned.
We're good.